Good morning students. Today we will do Gauss law and we will solve some questions from NCERT as well as we will do some questions from board exams. Some questions which were asked in board exams, we will solve those questions also. So let's start with one question, that is question number 1.32 from your NCERT book. So before starting the video, let me tell you, it would be better if you have your NCERT book with you before watching this video. So I suggest you keep your NCERT book with you and see question number from that book, and I have mentioned page number also over here so you can match it easily. So we will start with our first question, that is question number 1.32 in your book. Question is that consider an arbitrary electric field configuration and a small test charge is placed at a null point, okay, of this configuration. Show that the equilibrium of the test charge is necessarily unstable. And one more part is there, verified this result for the simple configuration of two equal unlike, two equal and unequal, or unequal and like charges placed at a certain distance. So this is very important question from your book. Okay, we will try to understand this problem. So what is given in question? First of all, I will start with part number B because I have already told you this concept, so it is easy for us to start with part B. So what is given in the problem, that we have two charges like Q1 and Q2, okay, and somewhere here at P we have null point. Null point you understand very well, that point at which electric field is 0, okay. So question is saying that if you have any third charge like capital Q, and if you place this charge at this null point, okay, then this charge will experience how much force? That is 0 force, because force is Q into E and E at that point is 0. But this question is saying if you displace this charge in a certain direction or in any given direction, then you have to show that this charge may be in equilibrium in a certain direction, but it cannot be in equilibrium in all direction, okay. So how we will go with this question? So as you can see, I have mentioned here, it looks like charge is in equilibrium, okay. Why? Because if you place your charge capital Q over here at this point, and if you slightly displace your charge towards left, okay, then this Q1 will apply some force of repulsion, and this Q2 will also apply force of repulsion on this capital Q, but force due to this Q1 will be of greater magnitude. Why? Because its distance is lesser, okay, compared to the previous one, and at point P, at this point it was in equilibrium. So our net force will be along this direction only. I mean to say, if you displace your charge from this position, that is P, towards left, then this charge will again come to its original position. Similarly, if you place your charge towards right, it will again come back to its original position. Means we can say that this charge is in equilibrium along x-axis. But however, it is not true for y-axis, okay. If the same charge in the second figure, you can see in this figure, if the same charge you place at this position, means you lift this charge, then you can understand that this Q1 charge will apply force on this capital Q towards this arrow, and this Q2 will also apply force on this charge capital Q towards this arrow. So it may be possible for symmetric cases that these forces, their equilibrium, their horizontal component may be cancelled out, but their vertical component we will get some vertical component for them, that will be called F net. That's why we can say that if you lift this charge in upward direction, then it will never come back to its original position, okay. That's why we can say that in the same example we displace Q towards y-axis, then it is not in equilibrium. So this is this thing was asked in the problem, that you have to prove whether your charge is equilibrium or not in all direction. So it is very clear that it is not in equilibrium in all direction. Okay. In part number A, what is asking in part number A, that we have to consider two charges. Suppose I have taken plus q and plus q. Okay. And if both charges are equal, then at point P, your electric field will be 0, and that P we can say by symmetry that P will be midpoint. Suppose I have minus q charge over here. Now you have to tell me that if you lift this minus q, in the second figure you can see, if you lift this charge in y direction, then this minus q will be attracted by this plus q in this direction, in direction of arrow. Similarly, this minus q will be attracted by this charge plus q2 in this direction. Okay. Ultimately, we can say that this minus q will come back to its original position. It will try to come back. Okay. However, here one more thing will occur, that when your minus q charge try to come back its original position, that means it try to move in downward direction due to net force on this. Okay, because this horizontal will be cancelled out. So net vertical force, due to this net vertical force, it will try to move down. Means this minus q charge is experiencing some amount of force in which direction? In downward direction. But at the same time, let me tell you, this plus q charge will also experience some attraction force by this minus q, because it is not fixed, it is free. So this minus q charge is going in downward direction, but this plus q charge will move towards this minus q, and this plus q charge will move towards this minus q along this arrow. I mean to say all three charges will move, and next time equilibrium will be set up at some different location. Okay, their location will be changed. After few time, all three charges will they may come in equilibrium, but the location will change. So we can say our whole system is not in equilibrium. Okay. So now we will start our next topic, that is electric flux. Okay. Before starting actually electric flux, I will give you some rough idea. As you can see here, I have mentioned. Okay. One more thing is that you have to note it down all these things if you want, because these are for understanding purpose only. These are not mentioned in book. I have given these concepts, these example by myself. Okay. But those topics which I have mentioned that those are important or mentioned in your syllabus, those topics you can note it down in your notebook. Okay, in your rough notebook. So what is our topic of today? That is electric flux. Okay. First of all, we will talk about some common sense understanding and some imagination. These are basically points which I have mentioned for myself, that what I have to tell you. Okay. So what you can see before starting electric flux, you can see I have drawn a bulb. Okay, just try to imagine we have a bulb in this circle. Okay, so if I ask you that I want to measure the light that is coming out of this bulb. Okay, got my point, that I want to measure the amount of light that is coming out the bulb or emerging out of this bulb. How I will measure this? Okay, I want to measure that light or that radiation. So same like that, we have its analog term, that is called charge. You can see in the second figure over here, we have a charge particle. As electric bulbs emerge out some amount of power from it, or electric light you can say, in the same manner your charge emerge out some radiation from it. Okay, and that radiation is called nothing but electric field. And this time we want to measure this amount of electric field. Means how much light is emerging out, or how much radiation is coming out from this charge. We want to measure that radiation. That radiation is basically called electric flux. Okay, so if someone asks you what is the physical meaning of electric flux, electric flux means what? Electric flux means nothing but measurement of that radiation that is coming out of electric charge. In form of what? In form of, obviously in form of electric field lines. So we want to measure it. Okay. Second is what? I have made one example. You have to understand this example. Okay. Here we have a bulb. I have mentioned this bulb as 120 watt. However, you have seen bulb of 100 or 200 watt, but I have mentioned it by 120 watt. Means 120 joule per second, 120 joule of power is coming out of this bulb. This is the meaning of 120 watt. So I have kept this bulb at the center of this cube. Try to imagine this is your cube and I have placed just at the center point, geometrical center. Okay, and power of this bulb is 120 watt. Okay, so my question number 1 is, how much light will come out of this cube? How much amount of light, how much amount of visible light will come out? Okay, then what will be your answer? Your answer will be, if this bulb is of 120 watt, then 120 watt will come out. Okay, simple. Next, if I ask you, if the bulb is exactly at the center, this bulb is exactly at the center of this cuboid, or cube, not cuboid, cube, then how much light will come out of each face? Face means, I want to, this is not face, this is face, F-A-S-E. Okay, so I mean to say that we have 6 faces. Okay, like 1, 2, 3, 4, you can understand it, and each face has equal area. Okay, so from each face how much light will come out? Tell me. If 120 watt is coming out of whole cube, then from one face 120 divided by 6 means 20 watt amount of power will come out. 20 from this, 20 from this, 20 from this, and like that, and 26 is 120 watt. Simple. Now try to answer third question. If the bulb is not at the center, I mean to say, if your bulb is placed somewhere here, like it may be placed at the corner. Remember, it is not out of cube, it is inside cube, but at the corner or somewhere else. Then answer in question 1 and question 2 will differ or not. Like question 1 was, how much light will come out? If your bulb is placed at this new location, then tell me how much light will come out of this cube. Still, the total amount of light that will come out of the cube, that will remain same. That means 120 watt. But if I ask you that your bulb is placed at position 2 instead of position 1, then how much light will come out by each face? Okay, how much light will come out? Then your answer will not be 20 watt. Got my point? This is the catch, this is the point. You have to understand this. Okay, and your answer will differ. So I have mentioned that question 2 and question 1. For question 1, answer will be 120 watt, means total light will come out, that is 120 watt. Still, if your bulb is placed on second position, but your second answer will differ, means from each phase this light will not be same. Okay, this will be different. How much will be that we have to learn in this lecture. Okay, how much light will come out in different situations. So what is our next question? Try to understand. Here we have question number 4. As you can see, question 4 is, if answer of question 3 will be different, means then how much it is? I mean to say that if your bulb is not placed at the center, okay, if it is not placed at the center, so here if your bulb is placed at position 2, say, okay, not at center, then from each face, if you are saying that light is not same from each face this time, okay, I agree with that. The bulb is closer to a particular face, from that face more amount of light will come out. Okay, like that may be your answer, but I am asking you, how will you calculate that light? Okay, for that we have to make another surface, another symmetric surface. Symmetric surface means we have to make an imaginary surface, imaginary cube, and in that cube we have to place that bulb at the center of the cube. Means position of the bulb is fixed, we can't change the position, but we can draw our imaginary cube one more time in a different manner, such that your bulb should lie at the center. Okay, this imaginary surface is actually called Gaussian surface. We will learn about that later, but you remember for now that this imaginary surface is called what? Gaussian surface. Okay, now move to next part. Like I have mentioned question number 5 over here. Okay, this time we have a sphere. Remember, this is not a circle, this is a sphere, and 120 watt bulb is placed exactly at the center of this sphere. Okay, my question is same, how much light will come out of this sphere? Your answer will be simple, sir, it will be 120 watt, because your bulb is of 120 watt. If instead of 120 watt you place a 20 or 30 watt bulb, then you will get that amount of power. Okay, so question is very simple but are of common sense, so you have to answer it properly. Okay, now next question, what we have the same thing like 120 watt bulb, but this time again it is placed at the center, but this time we have hemisphere. Okay, hemisphere, think about it. Now question is that how much light will come out of hemisphere? Mean this bulb will give light in all direction, like here and here. But I am asking you how much amount of light will come out of this part, this sphere. Okay, so your answer will be, how will you solve this question? Tell me, think about it. For that, what we have to do, we have to complete this surface. Actually, first we will complete this surface, because this is called symmetric circuit. Okay, remember it, this is called what? Symmetric surface, and this symmetric surface is nothing but your Gaussian surface. You will learn about it. This is called your Gaussian surface. And if I say that complete this hemisphere, in the second diagram you can see I have completed this hemisphere by drawing this dot line. It is not a line, it is complete hemisphere. Okay, and by joining two hemisphere we got complete sphere. And now this bulb is placed at the center, and we can say that from this complete sphere the total amount of light that will come out, that is 120 watt. So from half sphere it will come out 60 watt. That is our answer. Okay, now try to answer next question. This time we have a cube. Remember, we have a cube, and I am calling it lower box. Just for now I am saying this is lower box, and at this surface, at this roof, at the center of the roof we have the same bulb, 120 watt. Okay, my question is how much light will come out of this lower box? Means this bulb will send its light in all direction, like this one. But I am asking you how much light will come out of this box. Means this arrow, and this arrow. Okay, and this arrow. How much light will come out of this lower box? Then your answer will be, you can't answer directly. Okay, for that you will say that this box is not a symmetric circuit, not a symmetric figure. Means this is not your Gaussian surface. Okay, for that you have to complete this surface. How you will complete it? Tell me. You will make a Gaussian surface like this, or you will complete this cube in this form. Okay, like this, and this bulb should be exactly at the center of this. Okay, then you can say that from this cube the total amount of light that will come out, that is 120 watt. Okay, so from your lower box how much amount of light will come out? That is 60 watt. This will be your answer. Now my second question is how much light. Okay, let me ask you how much light will come out by one face. As you know that this cube or this geometry will have 6 faces. Think that every every situation or everything is in symmetric way. Okay, so how much light will come out of each phase? The light that will come out of each phase, that will be 60, not 60, actually 120 divided by 2. Okay, 120 divided by 6, sorry, 120 divided by 6, that means how much? 20 watt. So 20 watt of light will come out of each phase. Okay, so if I ask you how much light will come out by this phase, you know that this complete phase we have 20 watt power for this phase, and this is half of the previous or half of the complete one. So from the surface 1, 10 watt amount of power will come out. Okay, now I hope you got some idea about some such type of question. The same type of question you will see in electric flux, and it will be easy for you now to solve such problem. So let's start our topic, that is electric flux. Here in electric flux, basically if we talk about calculation wise, okay, calculation wise how we will calculate electric flux. So there are two possible methods. One is called mathematical approach, second is called by Gauss law. There are two methods by which we can calculate our electric flux. Electric flux means the amount of radiation or amount of charge, amount of electric field that is coming out of a given charge. Okay, and we want to measure that charge. So mathematical approach is what? In mathematical approach you will learn this formula E dot dA, and means finally your formula will be in this form, phi equal to E dot A. I will explain this, just wait for a while. And by second law we will learn this electric flux is Q in upon epsilon naught. Okay, so basically your equation 1 and this equation 2, you can see both are phi, both are equal. This phi means electric flux, and both equation gives us calculation of electric flux. Okay, we will see which data is given to us. If this data is given like electric field and area, then by this formula we will calculate. And if your charge and epsilon naught value is already constant, so it is not required to be given in the problem. But if charge is given, we can calculate by this formula. Okay, we will talk about it. Then what we have to study? Then we will study about combination of these two equations, means your first method and second method, mathematical way and Gauss law, both will be combined. Equation 1 and 2 means E dot A means electric field into area, that is electric flux basically. So this flux and this Q in by epsilon naught, this is also electric flux, both will be equal. So by this law, by combining this, we will solve two derivations. Basically derivation number 1 is electric field due to infinite plate, that is given on page number 38 in your NCERT book. And second derivation we have to solve electric field due to linear charge, that is given on page number 37. So one by one we will solve these expressions. So before that, now we will understand what is actually electric flux. Okay, so here electric flux is detailed study of electric field line basically. Okay, it is the measurement of the amount of electric field that is passing through a given planar area. Okay, means we have to calculate that, we have to measure that amount of electric field. Okay, suppose in a particular space you place your point charge, it will send its radiation to each and every direction. So you have to measure that radiation. That measurement is called what? That is called electric flux. Like I have discussed this concept by some example. Example 1 is what? We have a point charge, a small q, as you can see. This point charge is kept here, and at a distance r, we have a point P. Okay, and this point has very small area. Its area is 1 unit. And if I ask you what is the electric field at this point P, means question is very simple. What is the electric field due to a point charge at some distance? So you will say that electric field is kq upon r square. Okay, now I am saying that try to imagine suppose this is your point charge. In air you have kept your point charge, okay, and here at this point I want to ask you, due to this point charge, at this point how much is the electric field? You will say kq upon r square. Now I will ask you what is the direction of that electric field. You will say along this line, okay, but electric field is actually exists in all direction, okay, but at this point if I ask you, you will say electric field also exists at this point, that is along this direction. What my point? So that electric field, that electric field line is actually passing through this point P, and this line will also occupy some small amount of area. You have to imagine, see in your screen, this electric field line will also occupy a small amount of area, and that area I am calling that area dA, okay, that area is dA. So now if I ask you that your area is bigger compared to the previous one, here understand, we have the same point charge q and we have the same distance r, okay, but this time your area is not a smaller one, your area is bigger one. Its area is given by 100 unit, and this small block represents what? This block represents your small unit area, that is 1. So you can understand that 100 blocks will be there in this plate, okay. Now I am asking you that at this very small point, see this was your point P, initially this was your point P, from this point your one line is coming out, this is your electric field, okay, but here we have many areas like this one. So total amount of electric field that will come out of this whole area, that will be how much? So for one area electric field is E, okay, that is kq upon r square for one unit area. If your unit area is 2, then you will say electric field E into 2 times of unit area, means 2 line will come out. Now I am asking you how many lines will come out of this area. So you will say 100 line will come out, because by 1 mm square area 1 line is coming out, and by this much area this 100 line is coming out. So measurement of these lines is basically nothing, is your electric field, electric flux, okay. So our formula to calculate electric flux will be how much? Electric field E into area. Why we are multiplying? Because this E tells us what? E tells us electric flux. It also tells us electric flux, but this electric flux is just from a unit area, okay. But if your area is greater, then you have to multiply that E by A. Here it is 100 unit, area is 100 unit, and from 1 unit area electric field is 1. Suppose here I have considered EP equal to 1 unit, okay, that kq upon r square, that formula, from that formula we get EP equal to 1, okay, 1 Newton per Coulomb, our answer. So we will multiply that E by 100. Hope you understood this thing. Now move to second example. Now here you can see that we have this charge, okay, like we have this point P. If I want to show you, like here we have this this black cap, you can understand this black cap as your point charge, and here was your plate, okay, and this point charge was basically giving radiations in all directions, okay, and from this plate also your radiation will come out. But if I ask you that how much radiation will come out of this plate, okay, that was E into A in previous question, but here new condition is that I just change the location of this plate. If you can imagine, like this one, your plate is this one, then how much light will come out, okay, from how much light will pass through this given plate? Your answer will be 0. Think, now see in the screen how it will be 0. Here you have your charge Q, here is your point P, and electric field at this point P, it is already given in question, that is 1 unit, okay. This electric field we calculate by kq upon r square, that answer is given, that answer will come out 1. Now this plate, you can see this shaded region means this is a plate in xz plane. This plate has this plane, this area. I hope you can understand its plane. Now I am asking you how much electric field will pass through this given plate, pass through this area. You can understand this that electric field through this area, amount of electric field passing through given area, here it will be 0. Okay, why 0? Because you can imagine that your electric field will pass through this area in this way, like it will just touch the surface. Okay, it will not cross the surface, it will touch this surface. Okay, many arrows will come out and these arrows are just touching its surface. If these arrows are just crossing this area, then you can say that it is passing through a given area, it is facing some radiation. But if I rotate this plate, if I change its plane, then there is no electric flux passing through the area. Every material is same. So here you can see next thing. Now what is the actual definition? You have to note it down, this definition, that this is according to mathematics, means this is a mathematical way to calculate electric flux. Okay. The electric flux through a given area held inside an electric field is the measure of the total number of electric field line of forces passing normally through that area. This normally word is important, means you will be given some area and from that area how much electric field line are passing, that measurement of those area, or counting the number of line. In simple language you understand, just we have to calculate how many lines are passing through this area. We have to count those lines. That counting of line is basically flux. But in mathematics, how we will count it? So this is your formula. See second one, electric flux equal to E dot A or E dot ds. ds is also notation for area, but this is a small area. If you remember that in the previous example we had this ds, that was 1, and then we have to put here dot product actually. Okay, you will understand it also, that electric field you have to take its dot product. And E dot ds, electric field is a vector, area is also a vector, its direction is normal to its plane, and E dot ds vector product is written as E ds cos theta. Okay, where theta is angle between direction of E and direction of S. Here you can write it E dot A as well if your area is constant. Okay, and this will be EA cos theta. Now tell me, in case of the previous example, if you rotate your plate, then how much is the angle theta between E and A? That is 90 degrees. Okay, try to imagine here. Suppose this is your plate, okay, and its area vector is along perpendicular to this surface. Okay, its area vector is in vertically upward direction plus y direction, and your electric field is like this one. Okay, I was saying this one, electric field is like this one. So electric field has unit vector in I direction or plus x axis, and this plate has area vector in y direction. Okay, then this angle is 90 degree. So here you have to place that cos theta equal to 90 degree, and your answer will come out cos 90 is 0. That's why our answer was 0 in second example. Hope you understood this concept. Now we will move on. Moreover, you will get more clarity on this by solving this example. This is example I have taken from your NCERT book. It is given on page number 36 as you can see, and this is example number 1.12. So before it, just pause the video and first you read the example very carefully. Okay, from your book you read the example very carefully, try to understand what is given in the problem. Okay, then after that I will explain you the solution and you will understand it in a better way. Just try to read that question first. Okay, so here it is given that electric field is uniform and in the positive x direction for positive x, and for negative x direction it is negative. Basically just try to think, this is your line. Okay, this is your line, and at this line, towards right of this line, your electric field is 200 I, what is given in the problem. as you must have read this question. So it is given that electric field just to the right side, this is your number line, to the right side of the 0, electric field is towards right and its value is 200. I cap means it is showing that just a direction, and 200 means this electric field is constant, and constant electric field is always shown by these arrows, okay, with parallel or you can say that this gap is equal. And to the left side this electric field is towards left only, and that's why we are writing it minus 200 I, just towards the left of the axis. If I ask you how it is possible, it is only possible if we have a particular plate over here, okay, and that plate has surface charge sigma or surface charge on it, any amount of charge it may be, and that electric field must be sigma upon 2 epsilon naught, and direction is always away from positive charge, here in this direction and here in this direction. I hope you understand this now. So cylinder, it is given, one more thing is given, that we have a right circular cylinder of length 20 centimeter and radius 5 centimeter. So length of cylinder is 20 and radius is 5, and it is given that cylinder has its center at origin. This cylinder will be placed in such a way that its center will be at origin. So how you will make that cylinder? See in the next page. Here we have this cylinder, and so here it is shown your cylindrical area, okay. So we have to calculate total amount of flux through this area. Now you can understand here, I have made 3 categories in this geometry. Category number 1 is area 1 or this flat area. You can see this flat area is your first area. This second number means this is your second circular area. Electric flux will come out through this plate, okay, and through this circular area electric flux will also come out from here also. But if I ask you, will there be any flux that will come out of this curved surface area? Okay, your answer will be no. Why? Because if suppose you have infinite plate over here, then what is the possible direction of electric field? That is perpendicular to the plate, okay. And if I ask you how much flux, how much electric field will come out in this direction, your answer will be 0. So you have to calculate flux. First I will calculate flux through area number 1. So calculation of flux we do in this way, that E dot A shows our flux. Electric field at this surface E into area of that surface A, okay, and their dot product. So direction of electric field is towards x-axis, and if I ask you what is direction of area vector, then you will say it is also towards x-axis or towards plus I. Why? Because your area vector has a direction perpendicular to the given surface, okay. So if I ask you what is theta, angle between E and A, your answer will be theta equal to 0 degree. And if I ask you what is amount of electric field at this particular area, you will say amount of electric field is how much? That is 200 given in the problem, okay. And what is area of this circular plate? That we can calculate by pi r square. So here I have done, see, E is 200 and area is pi into 5 square. And this was in centimeter, that's why I have to multiply it by 10 to the power minus 4. If you will solve this, you will get this answer 1.57. In your book also you can see the same answer is given. Basically I have taken it from there only. So this similar flux you can see from second surface, the same amount of radiation. Again understand, just think in your mind that this charge, the charge placed at the center, this is not a charge. Just think here we have a bulb, okay, and if I ask you, this bulb will give some power to us, okay, this bulb will give some power to us. How much light will come out of this surface? You will say some amount of power will come out, that is 1.57. And if I ask you how much light or how much light will come out from this second surface, your answer will be same, because electric field here is also the same value, also has same value, and area is also same, okay, and electric field is towards left and area vector is also towards left. Okay, so angle between them is again how much? 0 degree. So our answer will be same. Moreover, one more thing you can remember, that if light is coming out of this surface, means radiation is coming out of this surface, your flux is considered as positive. If flux is going into a given area, suppose light from a torch, light is going into a given area, or radiation is going into a given area, your charge may be placed outside of this, then you have to take that flux as a negative one. Okay, so if I ask you how much amount of electric flux will come out of this curved surface area, your answer will be 0, because you can see electric field here in diagram also I have mentioned, electric field is in x direction and area vector is in y direction, and angle between them is 90 degree. So it will become EA cos 90. Okay, EA cos 90. So our answer will be 0. Now next question we have, given the component of an electric field as Ex equal to alpha x. Okay, so see, before solving this, let me tell you the similar question you can find in your book. See here, NCERT example 1.11. See that example, and that is given on page number 35. Okay, similar question is given, but in board exam they gave the same question for 3 marks in 2015. Okay, and this question was of 3 marks, but question is little different. Question has little difference if we compare this with NCERT. In NCERT it is given like x raised to the power 1 by 2 or like that something. Okay, but both are same. So from here you can learn one thing, that in board exam your questions are repeated from your book only, they just change this value. Okay, like in this question the value was alpha x. Okay, but in your book that value is something else. Maybe next time they may give its power 5 by 2. They may change values, but concept remains same. Okay, so see here what is given in the problem. Given the component of electric field as Ex equal to alpha x, in x direction electric field is alpha x. Okay, means if you increase the amount of x, your electric field will vary, it will increase, and alpha is a constant. Electric field in y direction is 0, and electric field in z direction is given as 0, where alpha is given as dimensionless constant. Okay, so you have to calculate flux through each face of the cube of side A as shown in figure. So figure was also given in the problem, and the effective charge inside the cube. For this portion I will tell you later, or you can do here also. So see how we will calculate flux. So this is the question. First try to understand the problem. We have x-axis, we have y-axis, and we have z-axis. Okay, and in the x-axis at a distance of a unit, we have a cube. You can see this cube is given. Cube means each side is same. Its length is a, its height is also a, and this width you can see that this is also a. So they have mentioned point 1 and point 2. You have to calculate how much flux will come out through this surface and how much flux or how much radiation will enter through this surface. Basically see, electric field is given as per this arrow. Okay, towards x-axis this radiation is coming out. Just think these radiations are nothing but a laser light. Okay, laser light is coming out or is going in x direction. Okay, so you have to tell how much amount of light this cube will absorb, or how much amount of light this cube will emit. So at point 1 electric field will enter through this surface area, and remember this electric field is not in a single line, it is expanded. Okay, it is present in all way, means a bunch of arrow is entering like this way. Try to imagine that. So we have to measure that amount of radiation. So see how we will measure. First I will calculate electric flux that is coming out of 2, then I will measure electric field that is entering through 1, through 2 it will come out of this cube, and for that what we have to do, we have to put electric field value at point number 2 or at this surface and multiply this electric field by what? By face area A. and same thing we have to do at phase number 1. I will write electric field at 1, that is I think constant, and not constant, it is variable, and I will multiply it by phase area A. Then you can understand that this E2 into A, that is the amount of radiation coming out, so it is positive, and this is E1 into A, that is our cube absorbing, so it is considered as negative. Total amount of radiation given by this cube will be this E2A minus E1A. Okay, so see the solution. Flux by surface 1, first point is flux by surface 1, that will be E1, electric field at 1 and A. Now electric field is alpha x. Okay, it is different. If you replace value of x, you will get electric field at the point 1. So tell me what is x actually over here. X is measurement in this direction, this is your x, so x is A actually, so you will replace alpha A over here, and area is area of this phase 1, and this is basically a square because it is a side of cube, so its area is A square, and A square multiplied by A, you will get A cube. So our answer will come out, will be alpha A cube. Okay, this much unit of electric field will enter. Now how much flux will come out of surface 2? That will come out from this surface, that is E2 into area. E2 is how much? Alpha x, but x you will place this time, that will be how much? That will be 2A. So alpha into 2A into face area is same, A square, and 2 alpha A cube. So final answer our will be, that will be 2 alpha A cube minus alpha A cube. So it will be alpha A cube in outward direction. Okay. Second part I have not mentioned, I think. So what you can do, or should I tell you? Okay, see, second part, how we will solve second part. For this we have to write that total flux phi equal to, so look here, I told you that we can calculate electric flux by two methods. Method number 1 is what? You can say mathematical approach, and second was Gauss law. By mathematical approach we have calculated our answer, that is alpha A cube. Okay, and that phi we have calculated. Now phi we can also write this flux equal to Q inside upon epsilon naught. Look, suppose this is your cube, so if we can see that finally we are in profit, that our cube is giving out some amount of flux to us. Okay, it is absorbing some light, it is absorbing some radiation, but it is giving also. So if we see net amount of radiation that is given by the cube is more, that is 2 alpha cube, and absorbing flux is alpha cube. So if finally we see that alpha A cube is the flux given by this cube. Now we will think in a new manner, in a new way. We will think like there is no external electric field actually. Don't think there is any external electric field. Just think that we have some charge Q inside this cube. As you can see at the center of the cube, I have mentioned charge Q, and that charge Q inside gives us, or this charge is like a bulb, and this bulb is giving us radiation or power in all directions. Okay, so it seems like there is some charge. However, it is not true that there is any charge. We call it analog charge. Okay, that is equivalent charge. So I am asking that this amount of flux, that is phi 2 minus phi 1, that is alpha A cube. Okay, this amount of flux we are getting. So how much charge can create that amount of flux? This is the question. How much amount of charge we should place inside this cube so that it can give total amount of power, total amount of radiation, that is equal to phi 2 minus phi 1, that is equal to alpha A cube or phi 2 minus phi 1. So we will write this phi equal to Q in upon epsilon naught from Gauss second law, and phi we have calculated alpha A cube. We will multiply this phi by epsilon naught value, that is 8.85 10 to the power minus 12, and finally we will get Q inside. So I think this answer and multiply by epsilon naught should be your answer for Q inside. Okay, so now we will solve second problem. Again, we have one more problem, same like that previous one. This question was asked in 2013 for 2 marks. Okay, basically it was in 3 marks. I have taken only first part. Second part was to calculate the amount of charge that we did just now. How to calculate the amount of charge, that hypothetical, not actual charge, hypothetical charge that is present inside this cube, because it is giving us some amount of radiation. So how much charge we should place inside this cube that will give us the same amount of radiation. Okay, that analog charge was asked, so it is very easy to calculate that part. Okay, so question was like that. I am telling you just diagram only. We have 3 axes x, y, z. Inside instead of that cube we have a cylindrical surface and it is placed at 1 meter. Now see, try to understand the pattern of NCERT or pattern of the board exam. Every time they give a problem based on this concept, that to calculate the amount of electric flux. Okay, in the previous example they have cube, instead of this cylinder they have cube. Okay, and this time they have given what? They have given a cylinder. Next time they can give you any other geometry, like they can give a cuboid. Okay, or like that. So you may be asked to calculate amount of flux, so that depends on them, but concept is same. Okay, so try to understand this. A hollow cylindrical is given and it is kept at 1 meter distance, and electric field is variable, that is given as 50x. Okay, means if you increase the amount of x, your electric field will be more. First you will calculate electric field at 1, that will be how much? 50 into x, that is 1 meter. Then you will calculate electric field at 2, that will be 50 into 2 meter. Then you will calculate flux at 2 and then flux at 1. Okay, and answer is also given. This should come out in your answer. You have to calculate net flux. Okay, now move for second question. So this was the reason I didn't take actually the second part in all previous question, 2 previous questions. However, I explained you how to calculate that Q inside charge. Okay, here we have Gauss law. Okay, and with the help of this Gauss law we will be able to solve the second part also, calculation of that analog charge or hypothetical charge. This law is what? Basically this is second method. As you can see, this is second method of flux calculation. As I told you, we have to calculate amount of power coming out of bulb. Okay, or coming out of charge, that amount of radiation. But that there are 2 methods. First method is mathematical way, in which we calculate E and we multiply it by A, and second method is Gauss law. It is very easy to apply this method also. So understand it. This law says that the total flux or radiation or power, total flux through a closed surface enclosing a volume in vacuum is given by 1 by epsilon naught times the net charge enclosed by the surface. If you have, instead of vacuum, if you have some other material, there you have to replace that epsilon r, or you have to divide this thing by dielectric. We will talk about in detail. I have skipped this topic because there is some reason. I will talk about that, what is epsilon r and like that. Okay, what is dielectric constant? Actually that is related with capacitor, so we will talk about that in that chapter. So here this Gauss law says that total flux coming out of this, suppose we have a sphere, okay, like this one, and this sphere consists of Q inside. Inside means this charge is inside the surface, Q in. Then this charge will give us light, or this charge will give us power or radiation in this form. This arrow represents the direction of the light coming out or direction of the radiation. You can imagine this now. Okay, and this amount of radiation that is coming out of this cube will be given by 1 by epsilon naught times the net charge enclosed by the surface. Means this is your formula, phi equal to Q inside upon epsilon naught. You don't have to multiply E and A. You will just put value of Q inside. You will divide that by epsilon naught, 8.85 into 10 to the power minus 12, and you will get the total amount of flux that is coming out. Flux means the total amount of radiation, the calculation of total number of line. We will calculate total number of line by this simple shortcut formula. That is what? That is phi E electric flux equal to Q in upon epsilon naught. Okay, by this formula. How this formula comes out to be, we will see its proof also. See here. So it is better now. Try to understand. We have a Q inside charge. This charge Q is kept in just at the center of this sphere. Okay, and just towards right of this sphere we have a point. Basically that point is P. I want to calculate electric field at that point P. However, you know that electric field is given by which formula? That is KQ upon R square. Okay, or you can say 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught KQ 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q upon R square. Both are same thing, but we want to calculate that electric field. Okay, suppose, or you may consider that electric field is given. So both are almost same thing. So if electric field you know very well at this point, then you can apply this concept. You can use this electric field to calculate the amount of field, amount of flux. How we will solve this? See, this electric field is towards right, and I told you, you just think in your mind that this arrow, this electric field, this arrow is nothing but your small laser light. Okay, a small laser light that is just crossing what? That is just crossing a given point. Okay, and that point by which it passed, that point will have some area. That area is dA. I am saying that area is how much? dA. Your electric field is passing like this way. This is your point charge. This is your P point where you want to calculate, and from this point charge electric field will come out in the arrow. This is arrow. Okay, like this one. Okay, and at this point I am saying this arrow is crossing a particular point whose area is dA. Now I am saying how much is the total laser light that will go through this whole surface area. Okay, what you will do? You will calculate E from one point, then E from next point, and you will add all the E, you will integrate. So the same thing I have done over here. Just try to understand. From this point P, from this very small circle, as you can see in your screen, this circle has area dA, and from this circle very little amount of electric field will pass, little amount of electric flux will pass. That flux is how much? d phi E. Okay, very small amount, and that d phi E will be calculated. If we want to calculate how much is that power, that laser light power, that d phi E just electric field at that point, that arrow, multiply by that small area, because that point will also have some area, E into dA. But this measurement, this electric field is very less, this flux is very less. If I ask you how much is the total flux, means they here in all direction, how much is the total flux that is emerging out of this whole sphere, then what you will say? You will basically integrate all such radiation, all this small radiation you will add, and integration on the left hand side and on the right hand side. And on the left hand side you will get phi, on the right hand side you will say E dot dA. Okay, and it is dot product, so you will write E dA cos 0. Why it is cos 0? Now tell me, what is theta between electric field and A? See, at this point A, direction of area vector is along this arrow. Okay, because direction of any given area is always what? Is always perpendicular to that area. Okay, direction of area vector is what? That is always at 90 degree with what? With its surface, like this arrow. So here also this area vector is along plus I direction, and electric field we know that it is away from this positive charge, that will also be in I direction for this point. For other point it will be different, but for this point the area vector and electric field vector both are same. If I say you that at this point your electric field will be where? That will be along this arrow, because away from positive charge and along the line. And what will be the area vector? That will also be in the same direction, because area vector is always at 90 degree with the surface. Okay, so at every point you can see that your area vector and electric field both are same. Okay, So if you will integrate, you have to put cos 0, and now suppose if dA is present over here, only electric field is will be taken out of integral part. Now integration of 1 you can understand, that is A. So our answer is E into A. So electric field we know very well, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q upon R square. Okay, and area of this sphere is, surface area is 4 pi R square. 4 pi to 4 pi will be cancelled out, and R square to R square will be cancelled out. You can understand it. Final answer will be Q in upon epsilon naught. So this is our Gauss law, that electric flux from this smaller area we have calculated, and from the whole surface will be how much? Integration of this d phi e, and integration of this d phi e is phi e, and that comes out to be Q in upon epsilon naught. The term that is R, that is cancelled out. You can also think, if this sphere will be just a bigger one, R is not included in this formula. Why? Because if instead of this smaller sphere, if you have a bigger sphere and you have kept some bulb over here, from that sphere also the same amount of light will come out. Okay, that is not affected. So practically also we can say that our answer should be unaffected of the distance. Okay, so now move for next concept. So our next topic is related to how to draw Gaussian surface. Okay, if you remember at the starting of the lecture, I told you that suppose if we have any particular cube, okay, and inside that cube if we have a bulb, and if that bulb is placed at the center, then how much amount of power it will give. Suppose its power is 120 watt, then you can say that it will give 120 watt amount of power. And if I ask you from each surface how much power it will give, you will say, sir, 120 divided by 6, that is 20 watt. Okay, but if your bulb is not placed at the center, it is placed somewhere else, then our problem was how much amount of power it will give. It will give variable amount of power from each phase. Okay, from any phase it may give more amount of flux, from any other phase it may give more other amount of radiation or flux. But our question is that how to okay, and one more thing, the total amount of flux that will coming out of this cube, that is same, that is 120, but from each phase your flux will be variable. So our question is how to solve such problem where our geometry is not the geometrical shape is not does not have symmetrical conditions. Okay, or you can say means there is no symmetry basically. Okay, so these symmetrical shape are called Gaussian surfaces. How to draw Gaussian surface, we have to learn this. Okay, so basically we have two steps to learn this Gaussian surface. Step 1 is we get Gaussian surface by joining all the point P and its mirror images which are at equal distances from given charge. Okay, now try to understand this concept with the help of first example. Example 1 is draw or locate all those points which are at a distance, which are 1 meter distance from you. Suppose see, focus on problem part. This is the problem, actually this is the question, this blue one, this is answer. One charge is given. Okay, this is dot means one charge is given at the point O, and you have to draw Gaussian surface for this charge. So what should be the procedure? Remember, I am taking very simple illustration, but this concept which I am going to tell you, these concept will be valid for complicated example also. Okay, so we will always try to learn concept with simple example, then the same thing, same rule we have to remember, because same thing will be applied in complex numerical also. Here it is easy to understand. So suppose if we want to draw a Gaussian surface for this point charge, so how we will make it? First of all, it is given that one point is given at a distance of 1 meter P. Okay, this point is given in the problem C at a distance of 1 meter. Now what we will do, we will try to make its mirror image of P, which should be located at same distance. Like first image is this one, P dash, this is P dash, and it is again at a distance of how much meter? 1 meter. Okay, Second is again a new p dash. This is also mirror image. Okay, why mirror image? Because it is at a distance of 1 meter from this charge, and one more point can be drawn like this. It is again at a distance of 1 meter from this, and one more point. Like how many points you can make? You can make many points. Now what you have to do, you have to join all these points to make a Gaussian surface. You have to join all these points. Tell me, if you will join all these points, which geometry you will get? Which geometry it is? Cube, cuboid, circle, or something else? Many of you must be thinking about circle, but it is not circle. It is a sphere. Remember, because we can imagine one point in space also at a distance of 1 meter. Just think like that. So the all possible point you have to make, not in a certain region. Okay, so all possible point if you will make, then you will get a geometry that will be a sphere. So if someone asks you what is the Gaussian surface, symmetric Gaussian surface, it is called symmetric. Gaussian surface you can call for anything. Okay, any surface may be called Gaussian surface, but symmetric Gaussian surface is this one, at which point P is at equal distance. So if anyone asks you what is Gaussian surface for a point charge, you will say its Gaussian surface is a sphere. The same thing you will learn in the next chapter. There the same concept will be used by the name of equipotential. Concept is not same, but geometry is same basically. Okay, for point charge equipotential surfaces are a sphere basically. Okay, so here also you can learn it. Suppose if we have next question, what is, okay, next question is the same. What is the geometry of the Gaussian surface for a point charge? Mean the previous one, that is a circle or a sphere. So our answer is a sphere. So next step, one more step we require to make Gaussian surface. Each point of Gaussian surface should be at equal perpendicular distance. Okay, that was 1 meter in the previous one. This should be the condition followed by in every situation to make symmetric Gaussian surface. Note that in previous example you already had noted it that each distance was 1 meter. So move to for a second example. Example 2, except sphere. Okay, except sphere, what other possible geometries are valid for Gaussian surface? Means, is it possible that instead of sphere, is there any other possible geometry for this charge? Means symmetric circuit, symmetric surface. Yes, that is possible. That may be a cube. Okay, I will explain you this in more detail, but wait for few examples. It is basically a cube. So now see, suppose we have this floor, okay, and this cube has a side A. So this charge is kept at the center point. So if I ask you what is the distance of the floor, this is your floor. What is the distance of the floor of the cube from the point Q? Your answer will be, it is A by 2. As you can see, this much. This is A by 2, half of this height. What is the distance of this particular surface from this charge Q? That is again what? A by 2. If I ask you what is the distance of this particular surface from this charge Q, now you can understand each surface or each face of the cube is at a distance of A by 2. Now you will say, sir, this particular point, this dotted one, okay, this dotted one point is not at a distance A by 2. It looks like more. Obviously you are right, it is more, but still we are saying it is Gaussian surface. Why? Tell me. Because again you have to focus on step number 2, this word perpendicular distance. Remember, in example 3 we have what may be a symmetric Gaussian surface for a linear charge. Symmetric Gaussian surface for a linear charge. So here we have our linear charge plus. Its linear charge density you can assume lambda coulomb per meter. So you have to plot Gaussian surface for this. Now think. See, follow step 1 and step 2 to make Gaussian surface. What is that step? Suppose if at a point P, at a distance R, we consider a point P, okay, this one, and from this charge, this distributed charge, we consider a point P. we have to make its mirror image. Its mirror image is what? P dash. Okay, but our charge is present here also at point number 2. Here also we have some charge. So now see the second one, this second figure. In front of point 2, we again have to make a mirror image P dash. Okay, and here also we can make P dash, but we have more charges on this rod. We have a charge 3, charge at 3, that is plus dq something, and again we will make a mirror image, that is P dash. Okay, and here also we have, so we have to make as many points. For our clarity, we can make many points. Okay, so, and we can make point on space also. You can imagine like from this rod, a point will not be in xy plane, it may be out of this xy plane in all 3 dimensions. Okay, so if you will join all these points, what you will get? All these points which are present in plane and which are present in here, you will get a cylinder basically. Okay, this cylindrical shape. Join mirror image, you will get cylinder. So you have to remember this thing also. For line charge, our Gaussian surface is cylinder. What may be the Gaussian surface for surface charges? Okay, if your charge is not point charge, neither point charge, not linear charge. For point charge, it is sphere. Okay, ideal one is sphere. Basically, you can take cube also, but more suitable is a sphere. And second thing, for line charge, it is cylinder. And what will be the Gaussian surface for surface charge? Now, surface charge can be of 2 types. One is charge on a circular plate, and second is charge on a square plate or like rectangular plate. Okay, so for circular plate, your Gaussian surface will be a cylinder. Now think, here is your point P and it is at a distance L. You can consider any distance L, and you can make another circle like this. Okay, and here also you can make another circle. Okay, and you can make a symmetrical circuit like this. I mean to say, for this circular plate, your Gaussian surface will be a cylinder like this one. Okay, or if you have a square plate, then your Gaussian surface will be a cuboidal shape like this one. Okay, this point 1, this point 2, and like this. Got my point? Why? Because electric field due to this plate is like this one. Okay, electric field due to this plate is like these arrows. Okay, and these arrows have shows your electric field, and at this particular surface, at this corner and at this corner, your electric field line are just perpendicular to the surface. You have to remember this surface should be perpendicular to this charge. Okay, then you can call it Gaussian surface. If you are getting any doubt, then let me tell you, in example number 5, I will give you some more clarity on Gaussian surface. Okay, so just wait and learn example 5. Here in this shape, I have mentioned point 3 as a roof, because this is point on roof, and this point 4 is on floor. Okay, so now see, this is very important question, and this will clear all your doubt. In above example, why does roof 3 means this particle 3, roof 3 and floor 4 means this particle 4 on floor, floor 4 not disobey step 2 of drawing Gaussian surface? It means that every point, okay, what was step number 2? Every point or see here, every point of roof or floor is not at an equal distance from the surface charge. Then why are we saying that above 2 are symmetric Gaussian surface? So this is the main question, that many students have doubt in this, that this point 3 and this point 4 is are not at equal distance. Okay, see here, like try to focus on this diagram. Basically this is more clear diagram. Here you can see that first of all try to understand this is the answer of the previous example. Okay, this is your surface charge, that was basically a circular plate, and here we have this circle and this circle, or basically your Gaussian surface I am saying symmetric. So my doubt may be like this point 1 is on roof. Okay, this point 2 is also on roof. Roof means this particular surface. This point 3 is also located somewhere here, and this 4 is also located here. If I say that this surface or this point 3 has a distance x3, this point 4 has a distance x4 from this chart, this point 1 has a distance x1, and this point 2 has a distance x2, then why we are saying that this geometry is a Gaussian surface? Because we have learned that for a point charge the Gaussian surface will be a symmetrical sphere. Why? Because if this is placed at the center of the sphere, then each point of the surface should be at equal distance, but here it doesn't look like the same, because each distance, say x1, x2, x3, x4 of this surface is not at the same location or is not at the same distance. All are different. First of all, this is the question portion only which I cleared. I hope you understood what is the doubt. Okay, so let me explain you. This point 5 and this point, its name is point 7, this point 6, and this point 8. If I talk about these 4 points, can you say that all these 4 points like 5, 7, 6 and 8 are at equal distance from the surface charge? Yes, you can say, because total length of the cylinder is 12. Okay, I have considered, and these 2.5 and 7 are at a distance of L, because this is just kept at the center, this plate. Okay, and this 6 and 8 are also at a distance of L. Got my point? So 5, 7 and 6, 8 are our correct points. Means this circular area and this circular area, we can call it symmetric Gaussian surface. Okay, but here we will talk about 1, 2, 3, 4. Now look, now read this line. I have mentioned it for you. Modified form of step 2 or rule 2 to draw Gaussian surface. Every point where electric field exists in Gaussian surface, that should be at equal distance from the charge. Okay, if you remember in the previous one where your point charge, we had only a point charge, then every point of this surface was at a distance of r. Okay, but this surface also contains electric field at every point. But here if I ask you that due to this plate, can you say that electric field exists at every point of the cylinder? No. Why? Because electric field due to circular plate is along these arrows. Okay, and its value was sigma upon 2 epsilon naught. If I ask you how much electric field is present at 1, means just I am talking about this point, how much electric field is crossing this particular surface, your answer will be 0, because electric field is always in x direction. In y direction electric field is 0. How much electric field is coming out in z direction? That is 0. Okay, so remember, while drawing Gaussian surface, we have to keep this thing in mind, that we have to plot Gaussian surface, that is okay, but only for those places where electric field exists. Okay, listen, before going to NCERT questions or before going to questions which are asked in board exams, it is very important for us to remember how to draw Gaussian surface. Now I think this is clear to you that at point 1, 2, 3, 4, read this line, x1, x2, x3, x4 are not equal, but we don't need this as electric field is 0 here, okay, but 5 at 5, 7, 6 and 8, this is 5, this is 7, this is 6 and this is 8. Electric field exists, and that electric field is how much? That electric field is sigma upon 2 epsilon naught, and all these points are at equal distance. So this is important for us. Now let me tell you one thing. In some time I will tell you this derivation, application of Gauss law, and we basically two topics are in our syllabus, that is calculation of electric field due to infinite wire. It is in page number 37 NCERT. There you have to calculate electric field at a point P due to this infinite rod, okay, and for that you have to make this Gaussian surface, and you will see that your Gaussian surface comes out to be in a cylindrical shape, okay. For a line charge it is in cylindrical shape. That's why we are learning first how to make Gaussian surface, and after that we will solve electric field due to infinite plane sheet. This is given in page number 38, and due to plane sheet we will calculate this electric field. However, we have calculated it already without using Gauss law, but this time we will calculate it with Gauss law, and here also you require to make Gaussian surface, and your Gaussian surface, this enclosed charge in Gaussian surface, this Gaussian surface you will get like a cuboid shape, okay. And here also you may get that doubt that why this is called Gaussian surface, okay, because these points are not at equal distance. For that I am telling you all these things in detail. However, if you have that habit that just learn it without understanding the concept, then you will get no doubt in this concept, okay, I am telling you. But if you really want to understand this concept, then you have to learn first how to draw Gaussian surface, okay. I think this video may be little lengthy, so I should stop here after taking one or two more example. But in the next lecture I will just finish this chapter, okay, and after that I will tell you some more questions that are asked in board exams. So now see how many questions we can do. Okay, 6 example. We have to solve examples till example number 6, okay. For surface charge we have done. Now we will do what may be a symmetric. Now this is for next, this is for what may be a symmetric Gaussian surface for distributed charge. This is easy one, that we have a sphere like this one, positive charge is provided here, and we have a point P which is at a distance r. So you have to make its Gaussian surface. So you will make it in this way, that suppose you have a point P, its mirror image is this one, then this one, this one. From this surface you have to draw, you have to mention all those points which are at same distance, small r, okay. And if you will do so, you will get another sphere like this dotted one, okay. So our answer is sphere. This is all about for today, and in next lecture we will complete this